Oh no, my spring in my foil drive remote control has broken. But don't worry, in this video I'm going to show you what you can do to replace the spring with a replacement identical spring, or how to use a cable tie to make it work for now. Okay, keep watching and I'll show you how I managed to solve this problem. If you've got some good ideas to share, please let me know in the comments. So this is the new spring and this is the broken spring. I opened it and expected that the broken spring would be rusted and corroded, thinking that salt water had been left inside the remote. But that's not why it's failed. I think it's failed because of mechanical fatigue. So it's failed at exactly on the corner where the most load takes place, on that corner just there on the spring. So it's not a question of the wrong materials been used. It's actually broken from metal fatigue. So let's see if we can come up with a solution. So this is the easiest way to replace the spring. So you take your new spring and put a matchstick through the upper part of the trigger, through the spring, and have it so it's only just protruding from the bottom. And then you're going to need to bring the assembly into place and catch the spring in behind, and as you push down you're going to need to keep the matchstick in alignment so the spring goes onto the bottom spigot that sticks out. Okay, let's get this finished. Okay, so the match stick trick worked quite well. Once the trigger is back in position, don't be tempted to squeeze the trigger, because until that pin on the top is supported, then you risk breaking the spigot, breaking that part off. So it's really important to rejoin both parts and put that cover back on, put the screws in, and then once that pin is being supported, then it's fine to try it again. Okay, so that wasn't too difficult. So what do you do if you're in a position whereby you can't easily get yourself a replacement foil drive spring? Well, there is a possible option. What you're going to need for this is a cable tie. This cable tie is 7.5mm wide. What you're going to need to do is to cut off 65mm of this cable tie. So let me cut 65. So that's about 66. Let's take another millimeter off. Okay, it's about 65. 64.5. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to take your trigger and so you're going to take your throttle with no spring, put the trigger in place. Interestingly, you can see how it works, because mounted on the back of this part here are two little magnets, and those magnets are having an effect upon a sensor which is potted within that resin there. So you're going to mount your trigger in place, then you're going to take the 65mm piece of cable tie, and what we're trying to do is to put that in there and bend it and catch it behind that screw lug there. And so then when you squeeze the trigger, it's going to bend the cable tie. Now it might slightly stop the trigger from squeezing to 100%. We'll find out in a second. So let's put the top back on, screw it up, and we'll see what percentage trigger it says it's going to go to. This is a good temporary measure. That cable tie is not going to be affected by salt water, but it's probably best to get an original foil drive replacement part. So let's turn it on and we'll see if the trigger works. So at the moment I'm only getting 64%. Let's see if there's a better way. This time I've cut the piece of cable tie to 48mm. And let's do the repeat of what we did before. I'm going to put the throttle trigger into position. I'm going to take my piece of 48mm of cable tie, tuck it into the trigger and bend it so it's sitting in place. Now this time when we squeeze the trigger, it's not colliding. Let's put the cover on. And we'll do exactly the same test again to see if the trigger is going to work, if this temporary solution will solve the problem, so that I can get out onto the water whilst I'm waiting for a part to arrive in the post, which could take a couple of days. So let's turn it on. Right, this time, yeah, that works. I've got 100% trigger. It feels similar stiffness to the original spring, and that'll work for now. I hope that helps somebody. Thanks for watching.